Hare Krishna. Pranams to you, Prabhu. Pranams to you.
Pranams to you, Mother.
Yes, Prabhu. Pranams to you all devotees. Thank you for the katha. Thank you for the realization. Sharing your realization. So, the three kinds. One who is desiring for liberation, one who is Jivan Mukta, the other one is situated in the already situated on the Brahma Bhuta platform. These three are there. So one who is desiring liberation, just want to get liberated from the modes through some process. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Somehow they just want to get rid of the effect of modes there. So that's the first stage. First stage in this Brahman realization, or first stage in getting rid of the modes. And the second stage is based on what they adopt. They come to this Jivan Mukta platform. Means Jivan Mukta means they are Jiva. They are living in this mortal frame, but they are Mukta, not affected by modes. And that state can be achieved by a serious Jnana Yogi or Ashtanga Yogi. Even if it is Nishkama Karma Yoga, the philosophy they need to embrace is Jnana Yoga. And even if it is a Jnana Yoga, the practice that they have to embrace is Nishkama Karma. They still perform karma, but Nishkama. Even by saying these two also, they are very theoretical. Jnana Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, very theoretical. Actual Jnana Yoga is like Brahma Satyam Jagat Mityam. So at 5 to 6 years of age, one goes to the forest to Gurukula and never returns, and because Brahma Satyam Jagat Mityam. That's the actual serious seekers of Jnana Yoga who shun away the whole thing as illusion and situate themselves in just consciousness. That doesn't happen in this day and age. There is a lot of mix in the name of Jnana. There's actually a lot of bhakti that goes in. Even so, even though they call them as Jnana Yogis, they will do bhakti to some form. They get attached to some form. They get attached to some practice. So there is no real Jnana Yoga here. And Nishkama Karma Yoga also is just not possible in this day and age, because Nishkama Karma Yoga is you have no desire at all, but you are performing some action outside. Is there anybody in the society who has to live and who has to eat to live? It means they have to cook to eat to live, and they have to earn some money so the body can be maintained. There is some desire. There is a desire to at least maintain the body. And what to speak of speaking in this, living in a society, and then performing Nishkama Karma Yoga. That's theoretical. Nishkama Karma Yoga is you don't care if you live in the body or not, but you perform the action. You perform the action to get liberated in Brahman. That's the actual Nishkama Karma Yoga. For that to happen, you don't care if you live in the body or not, to be able to come to that platform. One cannot even come if they are living in this, when they have this anga of the modes, when they are living with the people. Generally, those seekers, they just go to Yoga Ruda, and the second stage, Yoga Ruruksha. So they just, for somebody to be able to think, I don't care if I'm in this body or not, I will just do seva to other living entities in an anonymous way and shed the body whenever it happens. That doesn't happen too often, but that's the typical Nishkama Karma Yoga. So a typical Nishkama Karma Yoga, a typical Jnana Yoga doesn't really happen. They are more theoretical. A lot of mix happens, and even this mix also, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, cannot move forward without bringing Bhagavan in a form. Otherwise, why do the Jnana Yogis go to temple? They look at the form, but they see that as Brahman. Nevertheless, they are needing a form like that. Liberation is not possible without bhakti. That is the reality. So, Jivan Muktas, Jivan Muktas, whatever form may they adopt, a little bit of this and that, and a lot of bhakti in there, that will be there, has to be there. Somehow they get to this Jivan Mukta platform, and the Bhakti Yogis also. They also get to this Jivan Mukta platform by the stage of Nishtha and Ruchi, that is Jivan Mukta. Bhava Samadhi is typically, very clearly Jivan Mukta. So in this way, whatever route may be taken, and when one gets to this Jivan Mukta platform, they are in the body, but they are not disturbed by the modes. So even in this situation also, only those who have taken total bhakti, dependent on Guru and Krishna, and has come to this Jivan Mukta platform of Asakti Bhava. That's one category. For them, as Srila Prabhupada is explaining, they are so attracted. By this time, they are so attracted to the Lord, to the qualities of the Lord in the stage of Asakti and Bhava, because by that time there is a spiritual body, and the spiritual body is very much attracted to Bhagavan and everything about Bhagavan, Nama of Bhagavan, the Rupa, Guna, Leela of Bhagavan, Bhagavad Tadiya Vastu, everything about Bhagavan. Very attracted by this time, by Asakti Bhava, like that. And so they perform pure devotional service because they have the spiritual body inside. So the seva that they are performing is pure devotional service because it's happening with the spiritual body inside. And this will only progress to the next one, Prema Bhakti and Vastu Siddhi. Then they are past Brahman stage, not only Jivan Mukta, but when they quit this body and get the Vastu Siddhi, Krishna in the Vrindavan, they're past Brahman. They actually are with the personification of Brahman, the source of Brahman. Like that. So that's the next stage. Who has already and attained Brahman. So that these pure devotees, they have attained not only Brahman, the state of Brahman, but they have attained the very source of that Brahmajyoti, Krishna. Like that. So that's how they attain the third stage. And so those others who are in this second stage, the Jivan Muktas, because of practicing mixed Jnana Mishra Bhakti, a lot of Jnana, but definitely Bhakti is needed, or Karma Mishra Bhakti. karma is there, but bhakti is also needed. Or even Ashtanga yogis. Yeah, they have this. If they are Siddhi kamikas, it means if they get stuck at the level of Siddhi, there is a stage in Ashtanga yoga where one would get Ashta Siddhis, and only when one puts that aside, shuns that away, and wants to move further, then they will be able to have Paramatma Darshan. So, any of these practitioners who are performing Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, all of them who are needing Bhakti for their practice, this is all Mishra Bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. You see, Bhakti has to be there. Even if it is Nishkama Karma, Jnana or Yoga. So these three categories who are in Mishra Bhakti, when they come to this Jivan Mukta platform, we already heard what happens to those bhaktas who are in pure bhakti, asakti bhava, and then they attain the Brahman and Krishna. That we have heard. But about these Mishra bhaktis, when they come to this Jivan Mukta platform, so they are also living and they are also not affected by the modes. But there is every chance of them getting influenced by the modes anyway. Getting influenced by the modes or falling down from that platform of Jivan Mukta and getting influenced by modes. Why like that? It's because ye anye aravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayi ashta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruhya krichena param padam tat patanti adho anadrataha yusmadangrayaha. Because in these three categories, their intention is not to serve the lotus feet of the Lord for His satisfaction. That's pure bhakti. Here, these people's intention, these three categories is, I want to get rid of the modes. That's all. And not that I have to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. Because they are anadrataha yusmadangrayaha, anadrataha, there is no adrata. To yusmadangrahaya, yusmadangrayaha, to your lotus feet, Bhagavan, there is no adrata. They do not really care your lotus feet, service to your lotus feet. Because of this attitude, because they do not care the service to your lotus feet, patanti adho, they will fall down. Aruhya krichena param padam tat. They think they have ascended to the param padam. Oh, I have crossed over this ocean of nations. No more ignorance, no more passion, not even goodness. Aruhya krichena param padam tat. I have ascended to the topmost param padam. They think like that. But patanti yado anadrataha. Patanti yado. They will fall down. Anadrataha. Yes, Madhu. Angrayaha. Because they do not care for the service of your lotus feet. This is what happens to the other Mishra Bhaktas. Even though they have come to this Jivan Mukta platform of being liberated from the modes. Tvayi ye aravindaksha vimukta maninas. Because to start with, their intention is not about Krishna, not about service to Krishna, loving Krishna. That was not their intention. Tvayi ashtabhavat avishuddhaman. avishuddha buddhaya. Speculation. Avishuddha buddhaya. Speculation going on in contaminated mind. Ashtabhavat, different kind of mental speculations. All this mishra. These are all mishra bhaktis, right? So these people who are all in this mishra bhakti, tvayi ashtabhavada vishuddha buddhaya. Then they think, oh, aruhya krachena param padam, that I have come to this jivan mukta platform, but patanti ado anarthas. They fall down like that. So that's what happens to the Mishra Bhaktas, even though they come to this Jivan Mukta platform. It is only the Shuddha Bhaktas who are totally dependent. No, by the time one comes to Asakti Bhava, totally dependent on Guru and Krishna, that's past that. Initially is totally dependent on Guru and Krishna. That will bring them to Sakhira Anugatya Seva in the stage of this Asakti Bhava. So that Shri Guru, Transcendental Personality, has become Sakhir here. And here in the Asakti and Bhava, of course it will be Sakhir Anugatya Seva because it's the Kunja, in the Kunjas of Vrindavana. So, initially, he's called Guru, the Sandhini Shakti, but now Sakhir. So the position is eternal. The position and submission to that position, a loving submission to the position, and the guidance from that position of Sandhini Shakti, that is there. In the sadhana bhakti, we call Shri Guru, but it's in the raga bhakti, bhava bhakti, it is Sakhir Anugatya, like that. So one who is dependent on this Sandhini Shakti through and through, then only them they will be able to go past the Brahman realization and then get the Vastu Siddhi, like this. So these are the three ones. That's what we have heard. I also wanted to mention one thing about what happens to us in the very beginning. What we have heard so far is wanting liberation. That is a seriousness. That is serious. Wanting liberation. By the time one is really getting steadier, whatever process they may be taking up, like that. But what happens even before that? See, for us, the devotees, about the devotee association. Actually, we have 7 minutes, and this will become one more topic. But I'll just briefly say in 1 or 2 sentences regarding the devotee association. So in the very beginning, when we get to know bhakti, when we are coming to know bhakti, we get attracted to whoever is practicing bhakti, sadhakas. They don't have much idea. We don't, it's not that I have faith in Srila Prabhupada, that's why I am practicing bhakti now. It doesn't necessarily start like that. There can be great attraction to the pure devotee. But the bhakti will go on a day-to-day basis and survive because of the devotees around who are attached to Srila Prabhupada greatly and are dependent on Srila Prabhupada. Like that. So that's why in the beginning stages, it's the devotee association. In this devotee association, the purpose of what happens in this devotee association is we will get to know what is bhakti, we will get the inspiration, we will get the guidance, support, all those things, they happen in the beginning. That is with the devotees, the practicing devotees. And by having a little bit inspirations around something like that, what is supposed to happen is not only getting the knowledge of bhakti, but the desires are supposed to change. They do change. They do. Instead of doing something else materially, when One prefers to be with the devotees and do something spiritually. So the desires also change. All this happened because of the devotee association in the beginning, even if one is not initiated. A lot happens with the devotee association because these devotees who are practicing bhakti sincerely, they are holding on to the pure devotees. And that is why many changes will happen to the newcomers by being with these devotees. So indirectly, in the beginning, whatever changes that we experience being with the devotees is indirect mercy of Srila Prabhupada. In other words, the mercy coming through the devotees of Prabhupada coming through the devotees, like that. So that's in the beginning. We have to be careful in this part. And it is very easy to get inspired and to get diksha also in this beginning stage. Because there is eagerness. And this new person is really respecting all the devotees, and there is eagerness. Wonderful. And that's why when they chant also, it's so much of nama bhasa, because their eagerness is making them want to get into bhakti. It's a very nice state, wonderful state. And they get initiated. Oh, I want this bhakti. And that's when the real challenges, testing, purification happens. Though it is the same thing that they have done in the past, getting together devotees and doing the bhajan kriya, what happens is there is, the process, the mood of entitlement, comparison, and the expectation, all these things, they start to kick in the mind. That can make the devotee's bhakti difficult. So one thing that one has to be careful in during this process, at this stage, is do not find fault with the devotees around. Any devotee, do not find fault with, because it is our own dirt that is coming out. One may be looking at the other devotee and say, what kind of devotion he or she is doing? He is saying something, he is doing something else. I would rather just be honest and I would just not say anything. I will do my own bhajan. Oh, mind will talk. Mind will talk a language that we are bound to get trapped. ऐसे बात करते हैं. So at that state, we just have to be careful. Do not find fault with any devotees around. Do not disrespect them in the mind. Yeah. If these thoughts are and this kind of attitude is coming to any devotees around like that, we just have to know that it is our own dirt coming out. This will be the deciding factor in bhakti. Whether bhakti will continue or not will decide on this factor. If one starts looking the faults in the devotees, the mind will say, of course, it is very real. I am not looking at the fault, and it just says whatever it has to say. But if that is happening in the software, bhakti will not go on. Bhakti gets very difficult. And bhakti lata, it will almost die, especially when a big Vaishnava aparadha happens. Aparadha to here and there, this devotee, that devotee is going to affect. But aparadha to somebody who has dedicated their life for Krishna, and when this devotee starts thinking negative about that particular devotee who has dedicated their life to Krishna, then the bhakti lata that is there inside, it just gets crushed. So these things we have to be careful in the beginning, vigilantly. One thing we shouldn't do is do not find fault with any devotee around, and then continue the bhakti. That's all. So that's regarding the devotee association. In the beginning, that's what we have heard, that we get everything from the devotee association in the beginning, but we have to be careful that we don't look down or see faults in any devotees. And if that is coming out, we have to understand it is our own dirt. That's one thing that we have heard regarding devotee association. And that thing was 3 stages in the liberation. That's all. That's all, Prabhu, from my side. That's all, dear devotees. If nothing from any devotees, Prabhu, then you can go for the shloka.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that.
Thank you. We have heard about the Jivan Muktas, 3 kinds of Jivan Muktas, how they are stuck and they fall down. And we also heard about unalloyed bhaktas who are in the stage of that asakti bhava and they go further. So one thing we have to remember is, as Chaitanya Charitamrita, as Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has mentioned there, Vayam dvitiya abhiniveshat shat ishatapetasya viparyayo asamriti tanmayayat buddha bhajetam bhaktiaita esham gurudevatatma. That's the key point. Otherwise, one will not be able to come to that point of asakti, bhava, not even to ruchi. Bhaktiaita esham gurudevatatma. Bhakti eka bhakti, one-pointed devotion to the Isham, to the Lord, and Guru Devatatma, to Guru, who is Devata and Atma. Shri Guru, who is the Ishta Devata in the heart. So when there is bhakti to Shri Guru like this, as an Ishta Devata in the heart, and to Bhagavan, these 2 things. Without these 2, one cannot even come to Ruchi. Not forget about the Jivan Muktas, Asakti Bhava stage. So that is very important. Yes, Prabhu, that's what I wanted to add. Yeah, thank you. Translation, please.